All right, let's talk about something huge. We're on the edge of a fundamental shift in how we actually build software. It's this move away from the grind of writing code line by line and toward becoming the director of an AI that builds for you. Today, we're going to explore what agentic development really means and how tools like Cursor AI are making it a reality right now. Let's dive in. So let's just pause on that for a second. Is your job to write code or is it to solve problems? For like our entire careers, those two things have been welded together. The way you solved a problem was by writing the code. But what if you could just snap that link? What if your main job becomes designing the solution, being the architect, and an AI agent handles all the tedious stuff? The syntax, the boilerplate. That's the core idea we're digging into.
And that brings us right to this term, agentic development. Look, this isn't just about coding faster or having better autocomplete. This is a whole new layer of abstraction on top of our existing tech stacks. You're no longer the bricklayer. You're the systems architect, the director, guiding an AI agent that actually understands the problem space and can execute your vision. Now, to work in this new way, our old tools just aren't going to cut it. You can't just bolt an AI feature onto a traditional editor and expect magic to happen. Nope. This requires a completely new foundation, an editor that was built from the ground up with AI as a first-class citizen in the entire dev workflow.
And that, of course, is where Cursor comes in. You really have to think of it as more than just another editor. It's an AI-native environment. It's designed to give the AI deep, privileged access to your entire development stack. We're talking the file system, the terminal, the full context of your whole repository, so it can work with you in a truly integrated way. So what does this new foundation actually give us? Let's break down the core building blocks, the tools you'll be using right out of the box that will fundamentally change your day-to-day. First step is the Cursor tab. And please, don't mistake this for that simple single-line autocomplete we're all used to. This is a completely different beast. It's all about giving you high-speed, multi-line completions that are so context-aware, it feels less like a suggestion and more like a pair programmer finishing your thought. And that second point right there, that is the absolute game changer. Understands context across your entire repository. It's not just looking at the file you have open. No, it sees the helper functions you wrote last week. It knows your database schemas, your API routes, and it generates code that actually fits the established patterns of your project. It's incredible. Next up, we have the Composer. This is your command center. This is the spot where you really make that shift from coder to director. Instead of typing out the implementation, you assign high-level tasks. Things like, hey, refactor this component to use our new design system, or add a new API endpoint for user profiles, and then you let the agent figure out the how. And this is where the power of an agent that's integrated into the stack really shines. It's not trapped in a single file. It can jump around, modifying multiple files at once to refactor a feature. It can run terminal commands, to install a new package, and then immediately write the code to use that package, all from one single high-level instruction from you. But here's the deal. For an agent to be effective, it needs the right context. It's the classic garbage in, garbage out problem. You are the one in control of the agent's focus. You have to be the one to direct its attention to the relevant parts of the codebase, making sure it has exactly the information it needs to succeed. And this is a perfect practical example of what I mean. By using that @ symbol, you're not just crossing your fingers and hoping the AI finds the right files. No way. You are explicitly loading API/routes.js and lib/utils.js into its working context. You're literally telling it, look here and only here, understand the patterns in this file, and apply them to that file. This level of precise direction is absolutely key. So we have the tools. But, and this is a big but, using them effectively requires a real mindset shift. It's about changing your entire workflow, moving away from the tactical line-by-line coding to a more strategic, high-level kind of direction. So let's just walk through this new agentic workflow. You start by describing a goal, right? Something like add a new user authentication endpoint. The agent then scans the codebase to understand how you've built things before. And here's the crucial part. It comes back with a plan. It'll say, okay, I'm going to modify these files and I'm going to create these new functions. Your job is to approve or maybe amend that plan. Only then, once you give the green light, does it execute and write the code. You're the architect signing off on the blueprint. And when you put the two workflows side by side like this, the difference is just stark. On the left, you've got manual labor. On the right, you have strategic oversight.
You're basically trading time you used to spend on boilerplate and syntax for time spent on high-level architecture and verification. You're just moving up the value chain. Now, look, this isn't magic. It's an incredibly powerful tool, but it's a tool that requires skill. My advice? Start with small, well-defined tasks to build up your confidence. You can use a .cursor rules file to give the agent persistent instructions like, hey, always use async await, or our API responses must always be formatted in this specific JSON structure. And most importantly, always verify the agent's work. Think of it as a brilliant, incredibly fast junior developer. It still needs a senior architect, that's you, to review its pull requests and ensure quality. So where does all this lead? I mean, everything we've talked about so far is collaborating with a single AI agent. The next frontier, well, that's managing an entire team of specialized agents. This is where it starts to feel a little like science fiction. Just imagine describing a large-scale feature, and instead of one agent trying to tackle it all, Cursor just spins up multiple agents in parallel. You could have a front-end specialist, a back-end API expert, and a database agent, all working together in concert, and all of them coordinated by you. And this table here visualizes that exact scenario. You're no longer just a manager of one. You're the tech lead of a small, hyper-efficient AI team. You can assign out tasks to these specialized agents, you can monitor their progress, and then you integrate their work. This lets you tackle a level of complexity that would be just impossible to do alone. And the underlying stack to support all this is already being built out. Soon, you'll be able to define skills, like teaching an agent how to specifically interact with a Stripe API or your company's internal logging library. And with things like cloud agents, you can securely provide API keys and other secrets, allowing them to operate safely in remote environments without you ever having to paste a secret into a prompt. That's huge. Okay, this stuff is powerful, and it's here now. So how do you actually get started on this journey? Well, the path is actually pretty clear, and there are some fantastic resources out there to get you up to speed really fast. I'd say start with the official Cursor Learn platform. That'll give you the fundamentals. For a really deep dive, the Dare.ai Academy has a specialized course that's excellent. There are also some great video tutorials out there if you want a quick overview. And of course, when you're ready to get your hands dirty with configuration, the official docs are your best friend. And that brings us to the end. I just want to leave you with this final thought. For so long, our ambitions as developers have been constrained by the sheer time it takes to write code. But as these AI agents start taking over the how, we are finally being freed up to focus entirely on the what and the why. So the question is no longer, can we build it? The real question is, what is truly worth building?